Hi there, welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I am your co-hostess with the mostest, Drusilla Adeline, welcoming you into a den of violence, sin, and iniquity.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Are you feeling any better this week, Josh?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm good. I'm glad to hear.
It's like lingering kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, much like the cranberries. It will linger.
Do you have to let it linger?
I mean, did you?
Here's like a very Gen X-y kind of anecdote, is that I think I was 12 when it came out, I got a call from my best friend Jeff, who's like, I just heard the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. And so he was like, go to your radio and turn it on to 107.7 The End, which is like the alt rock station in Washington State. And he was like, and wait for it to come on. It's called Dreams by the Cranberries. and so I did. I like was cleaning my room and I just like put on 107.7 The End and waited for them to play that song again. And I was like, wow, so beautiful. What a beautiful song. Anyway, I am sick and you can expect to hear more random tangents like that. How are you?
I'm good. I'm like coming off of a wave of busyness. I'm finally have like a weekend that I don't actually have to be doing work. And it feels really incredible to just like see friends and live in the moment and just like rest. And I'm hoping that that can continue for a little while so that I can get things other than daily design work done and actually be able to pursue other pursuits. But also like I want to catch up on movies. Like,
yeah,
I've got a bookcase full of shit that I need to watch. It is silly.
Is your work, out of curiosity, because when you work from home, do you sit down and work like a solid 8 hours? Or is it like writing where you kind of can only give it so much time before you have to step away?
I would love it if it was more like writing, where like I come and go as the creative impulses come. But it's different because like if it's more like concepting, if it's like, and goes for either my agency job or if I'm just like working on personal things.
Yeah.
If I'm working on a movie and it's just come in and and it's like a blank slate entirely, then it is a bit more like writing where it's like, I've got to come up with 20 ideas or whatever on how to visually represent this thing. And that can be difficult and that can be more like, but a lot of the times that process is solved and shortened by going through my research. I have like books and books and books of visual reference of, you know, punk zines and movie posters from France and the Czech Republic from like the 60s and 70s and 50s and shit like that. And other designer friends have like online archives of great work. Brendan Schaefer has a great list of resources of stuff like that. So a lot of that time is saved by that. And then honestly, the majority of my day is building things.
Yeah.
Or more often than not, addressing notes from clients of like, the company logo needs to be 7% bigger and it needs to be off to the right. And the cast names need to be 25% of the title and the billing block needs to be 20% of the title. And you cannot exceed this percent unless you add this actor. Then it's a lot of, I want to say like 20% like art and creativity, 40% execution, and another 40% building. Like, doing math and doing like, I don't know, like legal work kind of in some respects.
Right, because a lot of it too is like this person's name has to be before that person's name, or this person's name has to be above this credit or this big or whatever.
So I know a lot of people look at movie posters and it's like, why isn't Jennifer Lopez's name over Jennifer Lopez? Why is George Clooney's name over Jennifer Lopez? That makes no sense. It's like, well,
because of contracts.
That's a contractual thing, and we don't really get those until the end. Sometimes it's nice that we get those before and we can intentionally line the photos up under the names. Sometimes you look at a movie poster and it'll be like two actors' names and one actor's name is like, and they're like next to each other. But one is higher than the other. That's a contractual thing where like, that actor's name has to be higher, even though they're like next. It's super, super weird. But a lot of it is like you want to have the time to execute those things in a creative way.
Yeah.
That look nice and appealing and fit in with the world of whatever it is that you're creating, and don't just look like a movie poster where it's slapped on. Because in everyone's head, you can imagine what any movie poster looks like. Big image, cast names at the top, title at the bottom, tiny little billing block of all the producers and stuff like that beneath that, and then company logos. There's your poster. So
if I'm imagining a generic movie poster, I immediately go to like a Star Wars poster where there's the title really big, and then you kind of see an illustration of all the characters lined up in some way.
Someone did a meme. I sound like I'm 70 years old. Someone did a meme. Someone posted a little infographic online a few months ago that was a like cheeky like how to make a movie poster guide, and it was like a paint by numbers thing riffing on like Marvel and superhero movies, and it was like, put your main character right here in the bottom third, dead center. Now, all of the other good guys that are on that person's team will flank them off to the right and to the left. And then any vehicles will float off to the side over there. Now, your villain, they're going to be in a profile shot really big in the background on the upper left. Your title would be a big 3D thing that'll sit down there, and it's like this whole, and it's like, yep, that's what every single one of those posters look like. I'm sick of it. So, it's a lot of that, and a lot of trying to be witty while also like running up against a clock all the time because it always has to be out today. So, it's a lot of that. But I find it fun. I would love to work from home more than I do because I'm still in the process of building this gorgeous little home studio. It is not nearly done yet, but it's coming along. I've got my little VHS collection in here. I went back to Be Kind Video in Burbank recently. The guys there are the sweetest, the best dudes in the world. And they always have the best tapes available. They also rent out DVDs and Blu-rays, including new releases and stuff that's really hard to find. They're right on Magnolia, like across from Portos.
That goth district.
In the horror district of Burbank. And it's so great. I just walked, every single time I go there, I see something on their Instagram account. I ask them to hold it for me. They always do. Unless it's been taken. And then I will come in that week to go pick it up and be like, cool, I'm just going to pick up this $15 tape of Daughters of Darkness, which is what I had them hold for me, which I just picked up.
Oh my God.
It's gorgeous. And then I'm like, well, I'm here. I might as well look around. And then I always leave with like a couple $100 worth of VHS tapes. Jesus. But like, I just went and I left with Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou.
Hello Mary Lou, we love that movie.
An original tape of Repo Man.
Yeah, that's cool.
What else? I love At First Bite, the 70s Dracula comedy. So much incredible stuff, and so much incredible stuff that like I walked out with 20 tapes, and all of them bangers, like some Lena Wertmuller movies, some like really great art house stuff from Dusan Makaveyev. But their horror selection is incredible, and horror tapes are the most rare and the hardest to find, and they're so consistent and so great. And I like always just end up chatting them up and hanging out with them for entirely too long. And we, they've learned what kind of stuff I like and what kind of tapes I'm looking for, and they do a really good job of like whenever I'm in, or if they have something new that they like want to DM me about, they'll be like, oh hey, we've got this just in, we've got some like rare 80s comedy that you've been looking for, we've got My Best Friend is a Vampire on tape, this is like, or they'll be recommending stuff that I haven't seen in a long time or have never seen. Love those guys, and I love any excuse to go have tape day and go pick a
Yeah, that
bunch of
sounds
tapes
so
there.
cool. I keep meaning to go there.
I love Magnolia Park so much, and I'm such a little freak for the VHS tapes. I need to be able to do another full day. Some of my favorite days in Los Angeles are just taking a whole Saturday, going to Magnolia Park early in the day, getting
Mhm.
Portos, and then like you start over by a Portos or Atomic Records, and then you just head
Yeah,
northeast,
yeah,
and then you go down to like Blast from the Past and Bearded Lady's Mystic Museum, and like
yeah. I just did
so
that with friend
fun.
of the show, Chelsea Stardust, and I did that.
I
Had
love
coffee and
Chelsea.
yeah, it was cool. Have you seen anything cool?
I have. I did maybe the most Drusilla thing I possibly could have done, in that I have been sitting on a Giallo movie for like 4 years that I've had a Blu-ray of. Never like being like, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it. It just got a new Blu-ray release. And so I was like, oh, cool, I'll finally watch my old one and finally watch the movie. I loved it so much, I immediately bought the new one, and it showed up the next day, so I gave my old one to a friend.
What is it?
It is the Spanish Giallo film, and I brought props despite the fact that this is an audio-only medium, and I'm a fucking idiot.
Right. But I can see.
Yes, directed by Narciso Ibanez Sraidor. I am terrible at that, and I apologize. But starring Lily Palmer, it is The House That Screamed,
Oh, I've always wanted to see that.
also known probably better as La Residencia.
Yeah,
The director also made a really, really famous horror movie called Who Can Kill a Child,
yeah, that I've seen.
which is really, really big. Scream Factory had released this.
Looks like that's an Arrow release. from here.
Arrow re-released it
Looks
recently,
beautiful.
and a more lavish edition with a lot more special features and a brand new restoration. And it was such a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. I like, as soon as I finished it, I was like, nope, buying the new version. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Arrow does such good work.
they do such good work, and the new release
releases are
has
beautiful.
this just stunning artwork by Colin Murdoch that is so like lush and lavish that perfectly fits the movie. You would fucking love this movie, Josh. It is all set at a girls' dormitory
Ooh.
in the countryside. It's a 70s Spanish film. So the most common version you're going to find is dubbed into English, and that is like
Mhm.
more than fine. Lily Palmer plays a very strict headmistress who is not above taking bratty students out of class, forcing them to sit in a dark room in the basement all day, and then coming down with her more militant students and whipping the girls until they are not naughty anymore. It honestly plays like a really gorgeous softcore version of like Picnic at Hanging Rock for the majority of the
Yeah.
movie, and then some murders start happening, but it's kind of got the dread of like something bad is going to happen, someone's watching us the whole movie. It is almost an entirely female cast of all these girls, like 19, 20-year-old girls in this like 19th century boarding school in their like insane corsets and bodices.
Yeah.
And they're very much intentionally being bratty so that they'll be punished. It's got some of the absolute best and wildest kill scenes. Not that the murders are weird or wild, it's more that the way that the film shows and edits them is very, very strange. It's very like post Blood and Black Lace vibe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And apparently Daria Nicolodi cited it as a big influence on the script for Suspiria.
Oh, interesting.
It is absolutely delightful, and it has a really fucked up ending that's really sick and twisted, and kind of like the movie is mostly like very much like a Giallo movie, but a very like pre-Argento Giallo movie that's a bit more like ethereal, like Rosemary's Baby, Picnic at Hanging Rock, Mario Bava kind of vibes, kind of like la la la, that kind of
Love that.
air to it, which is just delicious. It's really sapphic. It's like outright lesbianism. It's not even subtle about it. Um, and but the end of the movie kind of changed, like the final like 2 minutes of the movie kind of changes the genre a little bit. It gets it closer. I know I don't want to spoil anything, but it gets it closer to something else in the final like seconds or minutes of the movie, while still keeping it as like more or less a giallo film. There's not really a mystery to it, but it is such an exciting and fun mood movie. I adore it. I cannot believe it took me this long to watch it. I'm going to be watching it a whole lot more. And I feel like you would love it.
Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds... what's the title?
The House That Screamed, or La Residencia.
Right.
The new Arrow release is available, and it is very affordable. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It was Spain's first major horror film. So this is like...
really?
Yeah, in 1970. So I think it like... it either predates the Paul Naschy films, or I think more accurately, it was a bigger budget, more
right,
pronounced, and it's gorgeous. Like all the money is on the screen, and you can see it. It is delectable. I think is the best word.
I love that. I want to shout out this cool movie that I saw. I'm a little bit hesitant to recommend this to people because it is so pretentious, but like our most pretentious
I'm gonna love it.
Listeners will love it. I saw it on Shudder, and it was like when it was like 4 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, and it had really beautiful cover art, and so that's what drew me to it. It's called Last and First Men, and it's hard to describe, but it's an experimental science fiction nature documentary, kind of. There's no people on screen. It's in black and white 16mm film, and all that you're looking, sort of Skinamarink style, is long shots of these giant statues or structures, and then the narration is Tilda Swinton, and her voice is the voice of a person 2 billion years into the future, living on Neptune, and she's telling you, someone from the past, that humanity is finally about to end because of an upcoming disaster, basically, climate change, basically. So in this story, if you can even call it that, it's not that literal, but basically, humanity has been on Neptune for 18 generations. All of the other planets are long destroyed. And she describes, you never see people, but she describes, like you would be shocked if you saw us. We're grotesque and elephantine, she says. And so you're just looking at these giant structures that I assumed were miniatures, because they're just like really weird avant-garde buildings and monuments. I've since learned that they're actually real Soviet monuments from around the world. They're very brutalist and beautiful and strange. So that's it. You're just getting a narration from Tilda Swinton, who's an alien, about the end of humanity, and looking at these long shots in black and white of Soviet monuments. And that's it.
Jesus.
It's an adaptation of a novel from 1930 of the same name, like a more normal, literal science fiction story. But it's really fucking cool. It's by a famous composer who's actually passed away.
Oh, yeah, Johan Johansson.
Yeah, it's his only movie. So he does all the music, which is really cool. And it's very slow, which I like sometimes. I've said many times. So if that sounds good to you, watch it. If it doesn't, don't. But I really loved it. I've been thinking about it a lot. It's really haunting and sad because it's about the end of humanity. Kind of made me think a lot of The Man Who Fell to Earth. Which a story I love very much. I love really sad sci-fi.
This, from, I guess, less of the science fiction narration quality, but more from the structuralist filmmaking side of things, sounds like, do you know there's I guess documentary-ish experimental film from the 80s, directed by Hiroshi Teshigahara, called Antonio Gaudi.
I don't know it.
Do you know who Antonio Gaudi was? He was a really famous architect in Spain and made these gorgeously, I guess, like organic and curved structures and buildings in Spain. And they're really, really, really famous. And just lush and incredible. A lot of, if you've seen movies made in certain parts of Spain, especially by non-Spanish filmmakers, they tend to shoot in Gaudi buildings because, like, they're fucking gorgeous. Yeah. The entire movie is literally just Teshigahara, who's obviously a Japanese filmmaker, just very slowly and gorgeously shooting the buildings.
Yeah.
And it is just hypnotic. And it's really, like, out of step for him because before that, he'd made a long string of, like, Buñuelian surrealist and almost science fiction films, like Pitfall and The Face of Another, Woman in the Dunes, like big art house movies of the 60s and 70s that are, like, kind of psychosexual in nature. And then he comes back all in black and white, and then he comes back in the 80s with this, like, gorgeous experimental architectural film, and it's really, really confounding and beautiful. It's not something I ever thought I would be into. If you can stomach something like that without Tilda Swinton adding a science fiction element, that sounds like possibly an incredible double feature. Holy shit. It's on the Criterion Channel. I highly recommend it. It's really, again,
cool.
These are some of the most pretentious movies we'll ever talk about on here.
Well, this is a very pretentious, hoity-toity episode of Bloodhouse because we are going back to France for 1971's, written and directed by Joël Seria, Don't Deliver Us from Evil. I picked this movie. This is my second time watching this. The first time I watched this was, like, probably almost 20 years ago, in the early days of Netflix DVD rentals. I saw it when I lived in Brooklyn. My roommates and I were watching all 13 seasons of Dallas. So we each had a rule where we each had to get one disc of Dallas and then we could get whatever else. And so we would alternate between watching Dallas episodes from 1981 and then these, like, weird arty farty or, like, disgusting horror movies, you know. And it was also in the times of, like, the high flying days of blogs where there'd be, like, all these blogs that are like, here are the 10 craziest things that you can get from Netflix or whatever. And so that was the context in which I saw this movie. And I haven't seen it since, but I think about it pretty regularly. So it's been on our list since the beginning. So I was really excited to rewatch it.
This was one that since the inception of this podcast, I think in the first, like, call that we did where you were like, maybe we should do a podcast about art house horror movies. On it, you were like, have you seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil? And I was like, I've never even heard of that. And you were like, you're going to love it. It's so good. So good. We got to talk about it. And then it's always been we've got a big master list of things we want to watch. It's always been on there. And then very recently, it was released by Mondo Macabro on a new Blu-ray. Once again, I'm holding up a prop that is entirely pointless because this is an audio-based medium.
Here's the DVD that I have from Mondo Macabro that's older.
I love them. And so it just came out. I picked it up on Amazon. Just in a spurn of, I was like, I need to get some new movies. What's on offer? And a lot of Mondo Macabro titles were on sale or on a very, very good price. And so I got a few of them. And I was able to get this, which I was very pleased with because it was just released, brand new restoration. You and I have been talking about wanting to do it for a long time. And as soon as it came in, you were like, yep, we're doing this. We're doing this.
This is a sign.
And I cannot thank you more for bringing this movie into my life. I loved it so much.
Yeah, I was saying to you off mic, I was worried that you wouldn't like it as I was rewatching it this morning because, and this serves as a warning for the listeners, this movie does have some sexual assault and some animal cruelty in it. Yeah, this is such a cool movie. It's very transgressive, truly transgressive.
Mm-hmm.
For different reasons now, I would say, than it was transgressive in 1971. It was banned in France for its anti-religious themes. It received an X rating in England. So, it was a very heavily banned film. It is inspired by the Parker Hume case of New Zealand, which is what serves as the basis for the Peter Jackson film Heavenly Creatures.
Oh, got
This
it.
is a much looser take on that story, obviously. It has nothing to do with that. But synopsis-wise, I guess I'll just start there. This is a movie about two teenage girls named Lore and Anne, who are best friends and wealthy Catholic schoolgirls from a very conservative background, who, right from the very beginning of the movie, we learn have dedicated themselves not to God, but to Satan, and pray to Satan to help them become more evil and more wicked. And that starts out somewhat innocently and progressively gets more and more twisted and evil, and ultimately, causes their undoing. But what I appreciate about this movie is that it is truly transgressive, and a more commercial or modern take on this would be something like, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina or something. It would be done through this like pop feminist lens where they say they're doing evil, but they're like torturing the high school jock who's a bully or whatever. That's what a 2023 version of this looks like.
I feel like
They don't do
Thoroughbreds
that.
wanted to be...
Exactly. Yeah. This doesn't do that. These girls do things that make it really impossible to root for them. While also...
So you say.
Well, yes. I mean, the thing about it reminded me kind of the Czech film Daisies. And also Heavenly Creatures, also something like Natural Born Killers. There is a pleasure in transgressing that this movie is tapping into.
Yes.
A little bit. It's very sensual to do bad things and to be mean in a way, and that's what this really gets.
I mean, the thing that it reminded me the most of was Moonrise Kingdom.
Really? Okay. Say more about that.
Because to me, I'm just like, aw, what a cute little, like, young, adolescent coming-of-age romance film. And nothing else.
Oh my god. Drusilla, that's the most insane thing you've ever seen on this show. They literally... Okay, so the people that they torture, they're very much punching down. These are rich girls, and so, one thing that they do is they set a farm on fire, the working class people's farm. There's a simple-minded gardener, and they decide to one by one kill all of his pet birds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the fact that you think that this is a sweet feel-good movie is really funny.
I was rooting for them all through the end. I love these girls. I hope they have a good time together, as they'll always be together. There are some sick, deviant little fucks.
Yeah.
And I think they're really funny.
They're having a great time. I'll say that about them.
Uh-huh.
They're having a really great time. I appreciated, by the way, their sort of black mass where they dedicate themselves to Satan.
Yeah.
And I actually have the copy on my DVD here, so I'm going to read it because it's so cool. We renounce forever Jesus Christ and all his works. We dedicate ourselves to Satan. We beseech thee, Satan, our Lord and Master, teach us all the ways of wickedness, and at the hour of our death, welcome us to your satanic bosom. I mean... That's pretty great.
That's just so beautiful.
This movie has an incredible aesthetic. They're often in white confirmation dresses. there's like actually a vibe of like Call Me by Your Name because they're riding their bicycles through the beautiful French countryside.
All of that stuff reminded me so much of What Have You Done to Solange?
Totally. I thought of the great French novel Bonjour Tristesse, which means Hello Sadness.
I love Bonjour Tristesse so much.
Such a great book from the 60s, written by a teenage girl who became like a huge literary sensation because she was 16 and she wrote this beautiful novel about a teenage girl who doesn't care about anything and just wants to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. There is a joy to this movie. When they're like murdering birds, which by the way is they really killed these birds in the movie, so
which I did not know until you told me after the fact, and that does take some of the fun away.
So that's a little bit hard for me to get behind. Although, you know, I thought that I was going to have to defend that from you because that's what when I was watching it this morning, I was like, Drusilla might hate this because of the animal cruelty, and so I was coming up with all of these ways to. Yeah, justify it. So I'm going to give those to you now, even though before you were like, I don't care about that.
Okay, wait. Let me just clutch my pearls in advance.
What I was prepared to say was like, I don't love seeing animal cruelty, obviously, but I eat meat every day, which is unethical and cruel. And I felt like it would be
murder,
hypocritical
according to Morrissey. So
I think it is. I mean, I don't think that there is a ethical justification of eating meat. I just don't. And I'm somebody who eats meat almost every meal. But I think it's cruel. I think the best farming practices that we have in the United States are still completely unethical. And so that was my justification for them murdering a parakeet in this movie.
I mean, my whole justification when like watching Pink Flamingos, for instance, they actually kill that chicken.
I thought of that. And that's worse.
And that's worse. Because that's really fucked up. But John Waters' justification for that is, well, we ate it.
Which I don't think actually justifies it. But here's my other justification. It's just funny. For Pink Flamingos and for this. This is a 50-year-old movie.
Yeah.
It can't harm you. 2 birds were killed in the making of this. I get that your mileage may vary. You can feel however you want to feel, but I just can't be bothered to be upset about a 50-year-old movie.
Yeah, I don't hold movies from another time to contemporary standards, but also additionally, like, I hate to break it to you, but those birds would be dead by now anyway.
Do you ever think that when you watch an old movie where you're like, that dog is dead now?
That bums me out so much. That bums me out so much. I have to like actively tell myself to not think about that because dogs getting hurt in movies will really fuck me up. And there's very few instances where that happens and and I'm okay with it. But so many times I'll watch a movie and there'll be like an incredible dog in like a 70s movie and I'm like, or in an 80s movie, I'll be like, oh my god, what a cute dog. I love them so much. Oh, they're so great. And then the dog's name is in the credits. And I'm like, oh my god. And then I'm like, that dog is dead. And I'm like, oh fuck, oh shit.
Poor Muffin from Friday the 13th Part 2 is dead, long dead.
R.A.P. Muffin. More honestly, I'm gonna go out and say it. More dogs should have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Why not? Donald Trump has one. Let Edie have one.
Yeah, honestly, we need more dog celebrities in film. I'm just gonna say it. They can be bitches, but they're stars. Yeah, there's a lot of upsetting things in this movie. I'm not gonna like. Just be like, it's a light little frolic in the countryside. Have a little like berries and cream and like ride your bicycle and like murder some. Honestly, the most deserving parts to me are how often these girls are like openly like undressing themselves for these older men to like goat these pedophilic tendencies out of them that they know that these men possess.
Which happens like 2 or 3 times in the movie.
Well, yeah, a lot. It's also like, honestly, the thing that I like less than that is the way that the movie was marketed in America.
Oh, really?
When it was released in 1971, or maybe in England, but the like main English language poster from the time is a shot of Lore from one of those scenes where they're like exposing themselves
Uh-huh.
to an older man to play upon their pedophilia. And it's that slapped up on a big poster and saying the film that was banned in France. And it's like, um,
That's so of that era in
don't
the
think
United
you
States.
understood this movie.
Yeah.
The Japanese poster, however, is very like tender and lush, and I love it. I love these girls' relationship. I love like, yes, there are little edgelord fucks who are like fucking with these men and like playing with fire, quite literally. Um, but they're also like fucking 14. Like,
Yeah.
this is shit that I wanted to be doing when I was 14. Not like, goading
Absolutely.
people on and murdering animals, but like, just taking so much glee in denouncing the church and just being like anti-religious just to be anti-religious. There's a great scene when they're at mass together and the priest is going on in a pretty, at first, standard sermon.
Yeah.
And then we get her POV imagining him like nude and freaking out and being even more hyperbolic and more like fire and brimstone, and everyone in the audience like cheering and freaking out. And then when it cuts back to reality, it's almost that. Like, he's going on about how like we can't expose these children to films and television and they will corrupt their brains forever. And everyone's like happy and okay with that. I really love how much this movie hates the church, but specifically hates the men of France and just the people of France in general. They're honestly like, these girls are like enfant terrible, very much so, but their parents are the worst. Period. They are these like lazy.
I think their parents are nice, I thought.
Their parents are nice, but to them, like, I mean, they say later on that like our parents hate us, but it's like not really.
Not really.
But their parents are like shitty religious rich
They're very
people
conservative.
who are super conservative and like so like of course they would raise these kinds of girls, but also like I don't know. I feel like these girls need to get out this level of evil, and in a normal world they would grow into their 20s and just like even out and be like gothy lesbians, and that would just be it. But it's fight or flight and start Catholic France. One of my favorite scenes in the movie that is them getting at this, like, provoking this inherent, like, sinister pedophilia, because it handles it in a really, really, really good way, because there's a certain point in the movie where these men are blaming them for this stuff, but it's like, yeah, these girls are doing these things and they're like flashing themselves, but it's also like, you're not innocent, you fucker, for jumping them. Like,
right.
That's on you. Just because they're pushing the line doesn't mean this is their fault. Like,
it's true. It's true, but it's also, it's every time that this happens to them, it's because they're like having fun and like flashing these older men, and then the men lose control and attack them and try to sexually assault them. But it's complicated because they're putting themselves in this incredibly dangerous position, and they're doing it knowingly. And so it's tricky. I'm not trying to victim blame, but it's like, you're just worried because you're an adult and you know what's going to happen, and they know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it happens and they're upset about it, but I don't know. It's hard to talk about.
Yeah. Well, they know it's a potential, and I feel like part of the reason that they get so upset about it is because it actually happens. They want to think that it won't. That's the scariest part of the movie to me. Is not them, but everyone else. Because they're operating on this naive kind of childish vision of the world. Yeah. And they think that they are injecting evil into the world, but all they're doing is revealing the evil of everyone else. which is epitomized really beautifully in the final scene of the movie, where they are reading poems in their like class pageant, and they're reading
so
like
good.
outright like kind of like really fucked up satanic literature, and the nuns know that this is wrong solely because it's not what the girls rehearsed. But
Right.
everyone else in the crowd is like cheering and so into it, and it's like, yeah, that's what this movie's getting at for me. But my favorite example of that in the movie is at one point Anne peeps through a keyhole and witnesses the Mother Superior and another nun making out, which is one of the most gorgeous shots in all of cinema. She later goes to the priest intentionally, like in playing even more innocent and confessing this to him, and you watch the priest get like short of breath, and like he's not angry, he's getting turned on, and he's asking her like, oh, how did you feel when this happened? Did you enjoy it? Were you into it? And then she immediately shuts him down. It's like, no, why would I? That's bad and evil. When the first time we are introduced to Anne, she is peeping on the nuns undressing in the girls' dormitory and like lasciviously like pulling on her gum. Like, we know her response to these things. We know she's gay. We know she's got a thing for the nuns. Which, again, like, you get introduce a character like that in a movie, I'm instantly going to relate to them. Sorry. And she's playing into that, again, knowing full well what these men think and what the priest thinks, because he's the same as the rest of them.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I think this movie's brilliant and really fucked up and mean and fun in the best way. And it's, you know, it is such a like tightrope to walk to get at these ideas and to get to like, additionally, you're also like casting actresses of this age to do these things.
Yes.
Which is also difficult, but I feel like this movie handles it so well. And it's so beautiful. And the relationship between the two girls is what grounds everything and what makes it so fun, because they're so tender with one another and they so clearly do love each other. There's so many scenes of, you know, one of them has to be whisked off to their parents for a little while or something like that. And you get like narration read from like a love letter they send to the other one about how they just can't stand to be apart, calling each other darling. And they, every scene where they like sneak into each other's bed at the dormitory to hide under the curtains and like read like lesbian erotica by like a like flashlight. It's just like, it's really gentle and innocent and cute. Nothing about their relationship is sexualized.
Yeah.
They clearly have a like,
it's very romantic, but not sexual.
Yeah, their relationship with each other is gentle and romantic. Meanwhile, they use eroticism, sexuality to kind of corrupt and placate other people for their own fun. And like, dude, I just love it so much. I just think this movie is incredible. I love these women. I love them so much. I want good things for them.
Yeah. I appreciate how amoral it is, and it really captures like the joy of transgression, which is something that I felt at various points in my life, and something that I've really been missing because we live in such a sanctimonious time when like to be a good person means you have the correct opinions about things, and we're always surveilling each other through the internet, and you know, we talk about edgelords a lot, but it's important that there be art that's amoral and transgressive. It's really important. And we have less and less of it all the time, it feels like. And people want movies to reflect their own morality, and they want bad people to be punished. And they want, you know, like they want these really simplistic sort of childlike narratives. And so it's really nice to watch something like this in a weird way. Even though the movie can be unpleasant, it's like, it's nice.
Well, and it does, the ending does kind of, it's kind of a Hays Code ending a little bit.
It is, actually.
So, like,
Although I interpret that ending as like kind of happy in a
yeah,
way.
I do too.
So I don't know.
Like, I see this as like a queer coming of age movie in the best sense, because to be queer, especially in a religious environment, especially in the 1960s and 70s, is outrageously transgressive. And so much about queer relationships, especially around queer youth. And there's a lot of discussion around queer youth and trans youth lately that is so fucked up and angers me so much.
Yeah.
Are seen to be these like vile sinners that are going to hell. And it's like, well, if all of these people are going to hell, hell must be a pretty sick place.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck
that's
you.
that's what the girls in Heavenly Creatures are always saying. They've made up this afterlife called the fifth dimension, and they say like it's like heaven, but it's better because there aren't any Christians there.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that like ideology so much of the like, if you think we're the devil, we're gonna act like the devil, but we're still gonna be joyous in our existence. I mean, it's kind of like what we were saying last week about how like just existing as a queer or trans individual is like existent is resilience enough.
Yeah.
And that's what these girls are doing. They're just also like fucking with the society and the people. And granted, they are punching down, but they're not exclusively punching down. The person that they kill later on in the movie is a like affluent like family man, and they do kill him out of self-defense.
Yes.
And they don't kill him out of self-defense, and they only do so after they have provoked him to some kind. But again, like, he didn't have to come back with these two young girls. He didn't have to jump these. He's the like, he shouldn't have done granted, these girls are like being a little shitty, and they are killing animals, but like
they're being a lot shitty, but but that's okay.
But in a lot of these instances, I don't think they're like accountable or like wholly wrong.
No, look, I'm a middle-aged man like that man is, and if my car broke down and two teenage girls were like, come back to our house, I would say no.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather walk to a gas station or sleep in my car. Like, I'm not gonna, it's like, that's what an adult should do. So, you can't entirely blame them.
No, nor should you. I feel like the whole purpose of their existence is to shake up and point out the actual evils of, and that's the other thing about the title, Don't Deliver Us from Evil, is both, from the jump when they proclaimed themselves to sin and to Satan, it's that they want to be accepted by evil, they want to be accepted by Satan, they want to fall into that. But by the end of the movie, evil is more their parochial Catholic society.
Right, they're like exposing the hypocrisy of all the people, or of the society around them.
Yeah, so it takes on, I don't know. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I could write fucking books on this movie. There's a new commentary by Kat Ellinger on the Blu-ray, and I cannot wait to listen to it. That
sounds good.
One of the best on feminist film criticism of exploitation films, so hyped as hell. Can't wait.
This is something that I can't really speak to because I don't know enough about France and French culture. These girls the characters in this movie have an accent. They're all I don't know how you even say it, Angevin, which is region in Western France. So if you're a native French speaker, all of these characters have like an accent. So I don't know how relevant that is to the movie or not, but I did think it was interesting and worth noticing it. Like, in the United States, they might be Southern characters, or, you know what I mean? It's like that.
That's fitting. It kind of does have a Southern Gothic vibe to it. Honestly, like, because it's a more rural setting. Yeah. The two other films that I was thinking of throughout it, based on the setting and the aesthetic, or I guess three other films, were Pearl a little bit. Again, I feel like if Pearl met these two girls, they would have a fun time. They would get in some real fun trouble together.
Yeah.
But again, it's like setting in like a rural kind of setting and about a young female generation bucking against an older religious generation. And that's always going to produce some level of conflict and violence. Obviously, this is more blown up. But the other films that this was reminding me of were, and I bring him up all the time because he is my Lord and my Savior, Buñuel's Viridiana and Diary of a Chambermaid. Diary of a Chambermaid is another really great example of like playing off of the lascivious nature of older bourgeois men in the countryside. And provoking them, not towards violence of this nature. But the movie also, like, on one hand, seems like it's punching down because there's also a kind of, like, mean handyman farmer on the house in France. Chateau. There's the word.
Chateau.
But it's later revealed throughout, not later, it's like revealed throughout his character that he's a fascist.
Yeah.
And so like the religious elements and the fetishistic elements of that movie and the like, cause it's set in the late 20s, early 30s, the like are tied in with the rise of fascism and the like end of the workers' movement. In France at the time, and it's got a real gut punch of an ending. I don't know. I feel like I would love to pair Don't Deliver Us from Evil with a Buñuel film. Either Viridiana or that, because Viridiana has more of the, like, nun elements. I love their view on the world, and I think it is so delightful and refreshing as fuck.
It is. I would pair this with Daisies, the Czech film.
Yeah.
Which I know you don't like Daisies, right?
Daisies is fine. I watched it a lot in art school.
Yeah.
In film school. I just find it a little annoying.
It is annoying. It's purposely annoying, I think.
Yes.
But it has a similar vibe. Like an easier version of this vibe.
My whole thing with Daisies is, why would I go watch Daisies when I could watch Valerie and Her Week of Wonders?
That's true.
Or this.
I can see that.
So Daisies is great for what it is, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like there are movies that are important and influential, and it's really good to see them one time. But when it comes to like repeat viewings, other movies do similar ideas in a more enjoyable manner, or just ways that connect with me more specifically. Daisies is very fun though, and the editing is very insane.
The style is really cool. My best friend Alice and I in high school were obsessed with Heavenly Creatures. We watched it like every day after school. So I could feel from this movie before I read it. I was like, oh, this feels like Heavenly Creatures. Yeah, it's really interesting, that connection.
This really is a Josh movie, like through and through. This is all of your favorite things. You love a teenage rebellion film.
I do.
You love a European art house film, and you love like black magic satanic film.
Yeah, it's true.
This gives you all of that rolled into one. This is primo conkle.
Yeah, I was very glad to have watched it again. So I guess that is a good time to pivot over to Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I was trying to think of somebody who had made similar movies to this in one way or another, and trying to purposely come up with someone who I think would really like this movie, but that doesn't necessarily say that they've seen this movie. Do you think director Paul Verhoeven has seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Right?
I don't know one way or another, but I kind of really hope he has. Verhoeven, especially after Benedetta.
Yeah, that's what made me think of him. I
really, really hope he has. This is 1971 in France. He was still in
Is Scandinavian?
No. Dutch, yeah. He was still in Denmark at the time.
Dutch is Holland, the Netherlands.
Yes. Yes.
Denmark is Scandinavia.
Yes. I am an idiot. Anyway.
No, you're not.
He was still there making, before he made like The Fourth Man and,
right.
Katie Tipple and things like that. I feel like he's probably seen it. I feel like he probably hasn't seen it since the 70s or the 80s. And
Yeah.
maybe he's only seen like a truncated version of it, but I feel like he's seen it, and I feel like it's one that's stuck in his head.
Yes. Oh, that's worth mentioning. A lot of scenes from this were cut for a long time. Both editions that you and I have them restored, but there was a lot of missing scenes for a while.
I'm not I'm not surprised. I feel like US audiences would not have seen it. There's a lot of not actual nudity, but there is like a lot of undressed teenage girls for like
Yeah.
a lot of the movie that I feel
Underage
like would be
girls.
cut out of most English speaking audiences. And again, knowing that it was banned in France. Do you know how
Yeah.
long it was banned in France when it was
I don't
unbanned?
know. I don't know.
It's curious. I'm very interested in when things get unbanned, because there's always like Clockwork Orange was banned, the video nasties in England were banned, but it's like, well, it's 2023 and we watch them now. So at what point
Yeah.
were they unbanned? I know A Clockwork Orange was banned in England until Kubrick's death. That's what
Is that true? My God.
I know. I mean, bootlegs existed, but it wasn't. He wouldn't allow it to be released in the country he lived in until he died. He was the one who banned it. The guy who fucking made it. But the video nasties only were banned for a certain amount of time. But I know like some
not
of
that
them,
long.
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, didn't see the light of day in England until like the 2000s. So
Yeah.
it's wild.
I'm not finding anything from a quick Google on that, so watch this space.
So the world may never know.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of the connection to Heavenly Creatures until you mentioned it. I adore that movie, and I should really, really rewatch it. I love, one of my favorite elements of the movie is that these two girls are obsessed with Orson Welles.
I know.
I think it's really funny. But they're right. He's both sinister and hot, so I
Yeah.
get it. And, I feel like Peter Jackson is a big cinephile and tends to do his research, so I feel like he's absolutely seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil, and it would be
For sure.
foolish to speculate whether he has or not. However, Melanie Linsky is incredible and stars
Cherished
in that movie.
Kiwi actress.
And has gone on to also star in a similarly themed show on Showtime called Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
Do you think Melanie Linsky has seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil?
I don't. I love her, and I think that she is cool and probably watches some cool movies, but I feel like she's probably not a horror person for some reason. Just gut.
I can see that.
And I think that this is probably a little bit too below the radar.
That's true. I did see an interview with her on Fallon recently. It's been going around where she does an incredible Drew Barrymore impression.
Oh, that's so good.
Which, yes. However, it's making me think that like Drew Barrymore's definitely seen this.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore has, I think.
Drew Barrymore has absolutely seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil and might have like Don't Deliver Us from Evil art in her house. Like this seems
Star
like a
of
Drew
Poison
Barrymore.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore. Poison Ivy's very much like this movie too.
Yeah,
actually.
it is. I find Poison Ivy disappointing because it's not as much like this. I
Yeah,
wanted
totally.
Poison Ivy to be more like in that lane.
Yeah.
And less like jealousy between two girls and more like them acting together. The relationship also reminds me a lot of Buffy and Faith on Buffy.
Totally.
A little bit, and it's just like
Love Faith.
those are my favorite like female duos of all time. Of just like
Totally.
evil teenage girls, lesbian undertones who enjoy
Yeah.
violence.
I was trying to think of French people that I love. Of which there are many,
short list.
to be frank. And I was thinking about Serge Gainsbourg, the iconic singer-songwriter who's French. But then I thought about his daughter, Charlotte, who's been in many art house movies, including
Many
Melancholia.
Lars von Trier movies.
very many Lars von Trier movies. Seems like a cool, chic woman. And so I was wondering if you thought Charlotte Gainsbourg had ever seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like, yeah, you don't do that many Lars von Trier movies unless you're a bit of a fucking weirdo. Yeah,
I think that's probably right.
I feel like she absolutely has. Yeah, I feel like it's not one that she revisits frequently, but I feel like it's one that she definitely watched in the early 2000s. I don't think that she's gotten her mom, Jane Birkin, to watch it.
Probably not.
Probably not. But yes, I do think she's absolutely seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think of who else who has a streak of, who else I was thinking of? The actress in this movie, Catherine Wagner, I want to say, who plays Lore. Visually, she's younger. Reminds me a lot of a contemporary star, also known for being a bit of an on-screen teenage enfant terrible in her own right. On the HBO scandalized television show Euphoria.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like she looks a lot like Hunter Schafer, is what I'm getting at.
Is Hunter Schafer the girl that's also in Assassination Nation?
No.
That girl? Okay.
That's Hari Neff.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, Hunter Schafer is a bit younger. She's like my age? No, Hunter Schafer's younger than me. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like she looks a lot like Lore, who is the blonde of the duo.
Yeah.
And I also feel like Hunter Schafer is a bit of a hip lady. She's a very fun, out there kind of a person. Still young though, still developing tastes. Do you think Hunter Schafer has seen Don't Deliver Us from Evil?
I think it's possible. I feel like this has like her kind of aesthetic to it. It's got the beautiful dresses and the riding bikes through the bucolic countryside. I would buy it. Mm-hmm. She was born on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I just Googled her. That's why I know that.
That's definitely a fact that you know off the top of your head.
Iconic Capricorn Hunter Schafer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. I feel like if one of those nice hipstery art house theaters in New York City, like the Forum or something like that, screened this movie, she would absolutely be there.
Totally.
Yeah. Or if like Brain Dead out here in LA screened it.
It does have an aesthetic that's not too far away from like, Alana Del Rey sad girl aesthetic. Like I feel like somebody like her could really enjoy this.
I mean, I feel like this is what The Love Witch wishes it was.
Totally.
This movie does one of my favorite things that any 70s movie can do, which is transition in and out of scenes by just going out of focus.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh.
Love soft focus, love psychotic flute music. In this movie, it's like a harpsichord, but it's beautiful. Really great score in this, we should have mentioned.
Gorgeous score. Again, a lot of like female gesticulation of la 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 la. It's one of those.
Rosemary's Baby.
It's pure banger, 100%. Thank you so much for bringing this movie to my attention, Josh.
Absolutely a pleasure to watch this again. Mm-hmm. I think that's it for this episode of Bloodhouse. If you liked this episode, please rate it on wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at bloodhousepod. Drusilla, where can people find you? You can find me and my art over at sisterhidedesign.com. I've got a ton of new stuff over there. I've got the campaign for Swarm with Dominic Fishback over on Amazon Prime that's out and causing a bunch of stir right now. I've got new art for the upcoming Owen Wilson comedy Paint, which is absolutely hysterical, and I had such a blast working on at the latest Criterion release at Peter Bogdanovich's Targets, which will be out in stores very, very soon. Highly recommend that you pick that one up. And I've got some really exciting new art coming very, 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 very soon, so watch that space.
I'm also on Letterboxd. If you just look for Sister Hyde or Drusilla, you will find me super fast. I have some wild reviews of some wild movies, so if you want recommendations on other weird, fun things to watch, snap me up over there. I'm also on Instagram at Hyde Sister. Josh, what about you? Where can our listeners engage with you in a public forum?
Twitter, Instagram, or Letterboxd at Joshua Conkle. We're watching next week a very obscure, very tiny art house classic. What is it?
It's going to be hard for a lot of people to get a hold of, and I don't know if there's any big names in it, and most people probably won't know the director. It's based on an obscure novel from an American author named Stephen King, and the film is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
It's about time.
It's about fucking time.
All right, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.